Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. I hope you are having a great Wednesday. I'd like to thank you for joining us on today's webinar, RMR Generating Needless Service Call Busting, Remote Cloud-Based Servicing Platform, OvrC. Today's webinar is sponsored by SnapAV. And in today's session, our speakers will discuss how SnapAV's cloud-based remote service platform, OvrC, lets you generate RMR, provide incredible customer service, and technical support to your clients, so you can kiss truck rolls and service calls goodbye. I'm Andrea Morgan, ESA's Marcom Specialist, and I will be facilitating today's webinar. Before we get started, let's cover a few housekeeping notes. First, all callers will be muted for the duration of the webinar. At any time during the webinar, please feel free to ask a question by clicking into that section of your control panel. We'll ensure we reserve some time at the end of the webinar for a question and answer session with our speakers. Today's webinar will be recorded, and a recording of this webinar will be made in our resource library on esaweb.org at the end of the webinar. Without further ado, I'm very excited to introduce to you today's speakers, Webb and Clint Choate. Derek is a product training specialist at SnapAV. He works on the training, education, and development team, which creates all technical documentation for SnapAV products, as well as product training for employees and dealers. Before joining the tech team, Derek was a member of the tech support team at SnapAV for 5 years, first as an agent on the phone, then as a manager on the team. Derek is a subject matter expert on SnapAV's connected products, anything with OvrC. Clint is the Director of Security Markets at SnapAV. Clint brings 25 years of security industry experience to SnapAV, having worked in the central station, direct sales, and management for large national security companies, sounding alarm, commercial integration, and AV companies, and in leadership for a global sensor manufacturer for the security industry. Clint is the face of SnapAV's security integrators and dealers market at SnapAV, whose mission is to empower security integrators to win in the competitive technology market for homes and businesses. Derek, Clint, thank you for joining us today. I will now turn it over to you.
Hi all, thanks for joining us today for our webinar on OvrC. I'm Clint Choate and I'm the Market Director for Security Dealers and Integrators at Snap. As a quick high-level intro to those of you who do not know us, SnapAV is a manufacturer and supplier of more than 3,000 products in security, surveillance, networking, and audio-video. And today we serve more than 14,000 dealers across the US, primarily through our award-winning e-commerce site, snapav.com. Our local branches in Southern California, Vegas, the upper Midwest, and now in the Northeast, which is the tri-state, Mass, and pickup locations of Dallas, Charlotte, and Fresno. Our company was founded by integrators for integrators, and we're radically committed to the industry with the mission of helping our customers win in their marketplace. Along the way, we want to create raving fans from our award-winning customer service and tech support. Everyone in our technical services team has been in the field and has industry experience, and you'll find our support logistics for your business second to none with our free shipping and rewards programs. Our dealer bill of rights include a key principle of making sure that you make the most profit in your businesses, and we do that in a couple of ways. One, we stringently protect your margin by ensuring that your end users cannot shop our products online. No surprises where your customers found the product through a website, Amazon, or other big box retailers. And two, we invest millions in platforms and support that we give away to our dealers with no charge, including our OvrC remote servicing cloud, which we're all here to talk about. So thank you for your time today. We hope the session's productive for you. At the end of the session, you'll have an opportunity to virtually raise your hand in the question bar to receive a free OvrC Pro Hub product that will tie today's session all together. So stay tuned for that. Thanks again for joining. As we say at Snap, happy installing. I'll now hand this over to Derek so he can introduce himself and we can jump right in.
Thanks, Clint, and thanks, Andrea. Really excited to be here with you guys today to talk more about our OvrC platform. Some of you guys, this may be a review. Some of you may be brand new. So I'm going to do my best to take you through kind of the whole story of what OvrC is and how it can ultimately make your business better and help you save money and then also start to make some money too on top of that. So that being said, we're going to go through these things. Feel free to ask questions using your question and answer option in the Zoom panel on your screens in front of you. We will answer a lot of those questions live via chat there in the window, or we will answer those at the end with a little bit more of an interactive style. So with that being said, let's get rolling here. So let's talk about OvrC and what it is as a platform, right? So OvrC is a remote management platform in the easiest way of calling it that. It is a in-house solution developed by SnapAV in about 2014 is when we first released this platform. But what OvrC really is an easy-to-use cloud-based management platform that allows you as an integrator installer anywhere, anytime access to all of your client systems. Bringing everything together under one interface is the ultimate goal. It enables you as an installer the ability to provide instant support, customer service, whatever it may be, to remotely minimize the need for any type of truck roll. We know how expensive truck rolls can be for our installers. We have seen it day in and day out. The cost just to roll a truck to a job site to reboot a single device. It's always a pain, but it's something that's necessary to provide that support for your customer. OvrC's ultimate goal is to get rid of those truck rolls. We do it in a lot of different ways, providing you guys as integrators instant notifications for things going on, allowing your clients to actually access some of those controls as well, giving you easy to use tools to diagnose and resolve those problems, and then providing all of this information from one single screen, one single dashboard. I know through my years in tech support, having to work through and manage multiple support interfaces is a real challenge when you have all the different products deployed in the industry or out in the field. You guys always have the products you like. Well, all the products you like may not always interact together in the best way possible. And so you have to support those from different interfaces. OvrC's goal is to solve that problem, give you one solution to support the entire job site. So the ultimate goal, like we said, is that support, is get rid of that truck roll. We feel like we have revolutionized the way for you to service your clients at setup and after setup to minimize downtime and transform that customer service process. So we're going to go through a lot of these features more in depth individually, but OvrC as a whole, the unique piece and why it is so unique to SnapAV is because we are a manufacturer of not just hardware. As Clint mentioned before, we are a hardware manufacturer. That's how we got started as a business 10 years ago and longer. As we've grown as a business and as a manufacturer, we have gotten into the software realm, which is what you see with OvrC. And because we manufacture a lot of this hardware and the software, we have the unique ability to bring those together in a way a lot of our competition can't offer when you talk about managing your job sites. So some examples of that, and we'll talk more about that as we go on as well, is when you're using SnapAV products with our OvrC platform, this cloud platform that gives you instant access from any device, iPhone, Android phone, tablet, web interface. When you're accessing that platform with a SnapAV device, you're going to have, like I mentioned before, proactive notifications, the ability for you to be proactive and hopefully see what's going on a client's job site before they even know something is wrong, so that you can solve that problem. Because those things are proactive, you're getting that real-time status information so you can jump into those devices right away and start to make some changes there. Depending on the device, right? If it's, say, a IP surge protector, you have the ability to reboot any number of outlets on that IP surge protector. Our brand is Wattbox. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. Basically, any device that we manufacture that has OvrC embedded into it, you have the ability to reboot that device in some way, shape, or form. You also have the ability to configure settings on those devices. So our Wattbox, our IP power strip or surge protector, it's a great example in the sense that this device, it almost completely lives in the cloud. There's no need for you to ever have to visit a local interface, navigate to an IP address to make any kind of setting changes. A majority of the settings for that device, if not all the settings for that device, are available in the cloud, so you can make changes, make updates, make tweaks whenever you need to from anywhere in the world on the go. It's a really, really powerful product there to give you that type of cloud management there. The ability to push remote firmware updates. That's a very powerful feature to have with all of our products integrate into the OvrC ecosystem natively. It is the ability to push a firmware update for whatever that product may be that we manufacture. A great example of that is if you have deployed hundreds of our Luma IP cameras across your location, wherever you're based out of. Everyone knows that in the surveillance industry, the need for security updates is very vital. The need to maintain consistent security updates is very vital. If Luma, right, if there is a vulnerability in the industry and we release an update, we make it easier for you to deploy that update without having to roll a truck to every single job site that requires an update there. So the whole goal there is, again, giving you every single way to solve problems for your clients with the ultimate goal to help you save time and money and provide your clients more satisfaction that you are truly the best option when it comes to an integrator or a technology provider for them. So kind of digging a little bit deeper into the platform, some of the things as the platform has grown over the years that we have gotten a lot of questions around is security, right? We're talking about a platform that is essentially giving you access to hundreds of your clients' pieces of technology living on those job sites. So the OvrC platform, as we've grown, security has been at the forefront of our minds to make sure that as the platform grows, the security grows with it. Just kind of a quick overview. OvrC itself, it's a very robust and scalable platform. It is spread across multiple data centers across the US. We're actually using Amazon Web Services as the backbone for this ecosystem. Redundant firewalls, encrypted communication in terms of our devices communicating across servers. And then we're also performing a lot of not just live, on-demand vulnerability scanning to make sure that the platform isn't being opened up to potential attacks. We also perform yearly third-party penetration tests to make sure that this solution isn't going to be open to those types of attacks that would not just concern your clients, but render a solution that you build your business on useless. That's our ultimate goal, is to have as much uptime as possible, because if you base your solution off this, we want to make sure that nothing ever goes wrong for you and you can always support your clients. So it's an idea around having a secure platform for OvrC. The last piece here, talking about globally the platform itself, is in my travels, doing all my training, across the U.S. and talking to integrators. Quite often we get the question over the years, is OvrC sitting on a server, a computer in the corner of the office back in Charlotte, North Carolina, at our headquarters? No, it's not. I mentioned that before, right? We're sitting on eight redundant servers across the United States today. So we are a very robust and growing platform. This is the most important platform at SnapAV. It's one of our most heavily invested platforms as a business because of what it can do for our integrators. So to give you some ideas there, since we launched in 2014, as of today, we're adding about 10,000 new users to the OvrC platform in a given month. We're at 3 million connected devices that are being monitored through OvrC today. That's pretty powerful there. 200,000 different locations that we have OvrC products installed on, and we're adding about 5,000 new job sites every single month. So this just helps you understand that this platform isn't something we're going to go and flip the light switch off on or that we take lightly. This is an extremely important platform for the future of our business at SnapAV, and we're really excited to teach you guys about it and talk some more about it as well. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to recap a little bit as well, but I wanted to find the three pieces of the OvrC platform and what that means for you guys. We get a lot of misconception here, a lot of confusion. One of my goals in training is to been this past year is to really focus on defining these three pieces and what they mean and why they're important. So the first piece is going to be your OvrC native integration. So when I say OvrC native integration, that's the icon that you're going to see there on the right-hand side. That OvrC native integration means it is any product that SnapAV manufactures that has OvrC inside of that product. You'll see a little label, a sticker on the box that lets you know it's OvrC enabled, but that's going to give you that native integration. Basically, the best of the best when it comes to cloud management is going to come through products manufactured from SnapAV first. But we don't stop there. The next piece we'll talk about a little bit more in depth, OvrC Home. OvrC Home is taking a lot of the control that OvrC has and giving some of that to your client in an end user app. And then the last piece, which is a really exciting piece, is OvrC Pro, is encompassing the entire job site, the entire location, not just SnapAV manufactured hardware. So let's go through those, right? So kind of recapping what I said before in the beginning of the presentation here, but that OvrC native integration, what do you get when you buy a SnapAV product with that OvrC information? Like we said, real-time status info, so the ability to see your job site and what's going on whenever you need to from whatever device you're on, tablet, cell phone, Android, iOS, from a Windows-based PC, a Mac-based PC, whatever it may be, getting access is really important there. Proactive notifications, the ability to reboot any group of devices, whether it's a single outlet on a IP surge protector, a single PoE port on an Arachnus PoE switch, so on and so forth, the ability to reboot any OvrC device. Configuring settings, updating firmware, and then tracking information. All of our SnapAV products on OvrC keep an activity log to let you know what is going on historically with that product. So if you can't solve the problem right there when you get the notification, you can always go back and search through those activities and those events to see if you can figure out what's actually going on there. So today, this is the native OvrC ecosystem. These are the products from SnapAV, the product categories from SnapAV that natively live in the OvrC ecosystem. So we have over 200 native SKUs on OvrC today that we manufacture. That's anything from our line of Luma surveillance products, so that's IP cameras and NVRs and DVRs. They live in the OvrC ecosystem for not just help with remote setup, rebooting, firmware updates. We also have a proprietary solution called Luma Link, which provides secure remote access through OvrC to your surveillance systems for not just configuration, but also viewing live footage and reviewing live footage for you and your customers. A really cool example of what OvrC can do with our surveillance products. We have OvrC built into all of our Arachnus networking gear, routers, switches, and access points to give you, again, not just status, but also the ability to set up SSIDs on your access points, like I said before, reboot PoE ports on PoE switches, tons of configuration options across the board there with our networking gear. Our line of music streamers with Autonomic live in the OvrC ecosystem. We have a whole line of 70-volt IP amplifiers that are on OvrC for remote power cycling, remote firmware updates, remote volume leveling. And we also just released a new 70-volt 8-ohm hybrid amplifier that's also in the OvrC ecosystem as well. We have a video over IP solution with our binary media over IP that lives in the OvrC ecosystem. It's an HDMI product that's available to be managed through the cloud. That is an unmatched solution when you talk about IP media distribution and cloud management. And then Wattbox IP is a really cool solution. That is our line of IP surge protectors that live in the OvrC ecosystem. That is my favorite OvrC product because of the problem it solves, which is those remote power cycles. So we have a full lineup of IP surge protectors and just power products in general that live in the OvrC ecosystem for remote management. The last one you'll see there is Lutron with Rod 2 Select. So Rod 2 Select is a part of Lutron, more of a entry-level piece into the custom lighting scene, but Lutron is a native product with Rod 2 Select in the OvrC ecosystem as well. The biggest opportunity there is remote troubleshooting and setting changes of your Rod 2 Select systems with OvrC native integration. The important thing here is that whenever you buy any of these products that you see here in front of you, you're getting these OvrC features for free. There's no cost to enable a Wattbox surge protector to have remote management with OvrC. There's no cost to set up remote viewing of your Luma surveillance system with OvrC. We don't charge for any of these features. They're there when you buy the product. It is a value add for buying that hardware from SnapAV. It's an important thing for us to stand behind. We're always going to stand behind that with our hardware and keep OvrC free for SnapAV hardware through and through. That's an important piece there when we talk about our native OvrC ecosystem and the features you get there. So continuing, and I want to touch lightly on OvrC Home and what that is for all of you guys that are installing it. early on in the OvrC release process, we received a lot of feedback early on that dealers, integrators, they loved the platform, they loved the ability to manage their products. It was working great for them. But early on, they said, hey, I want to give this great platform to my customer. And our first, inclination response was, well, why would you want to do that? We spent all this time, all this effort to build this platform for you, and you just want to give it away right away? Our initial answer was no, you can't do that. But the reasoning was sound in the sense that there are times when no matter the job site, whether it's commercial or residential, you don't want to have to get that call from the client to solve a problem. Whatever it may be, whether it is a TV that's locked up for digital signage, it's an Apple TV behind a TV in someone's home, whatever it may be, when that device locks up, yes, you can solve it quickly and fast from your phone anywhere in the world whenever you need to. But at the end of the day, you still have to do that. You still have to take the phone call from the client and open up your phone and reboot that device. OvrC Home is all about a customizable and convenient solution that allows you to give some of that control to your client so they can solve their own problems without having to call you. So they've called you for the third time during this week. Say, hey, instead of calling me in the future, I want you to use the OvrC Home app on your phone to reboot the device for you. So you as an installer, you were actually creating macros in a sense that reboot any of those native OvrC devices we just talked about before. So it's really easy to do. It's nothing that's advanced in terms of making this happen for your clients. It's really cool what it can offer you in terms of the ability to allow the client to have remote reboot options on their systems as well. The next piece is the ability to customize the app your own. That was something important for us. We didn't want to provide a solution to our installers that was something that came from SnapAV. We want the customer, the end consumer, to see it as a solution from the integrator, not from us. So you have the ability to brand the solution your own, put your company logo in there, your company contact information, your company phone number, so that whenever anything goes wrong, the customer always knows who you are, remembers who you are, and knows who to contact if they need help and their app's not doing it for them. So that's the first part of OvrC Home in terms of what it is. It also interacts with our networking products. If you're using Arachnus access points, you have the ability to set up Wi-Fi profiles so that you can create profiles for each member of the house, from a business, whatever it may be. And you can say that at certain times of the day, certain people don't have access to Wi-Fi based off those profiles you create that look at it via MAC address. We also offer content filtering when using our Arachnus routers. So our Arachnus routers, with using this feature, you have 4 different levels of content filtering that block access to certain types of websites. We're using a pretty high-end database of websites. It's always updating to make sure that we're keeping this up to date. But it's from everything from basic filtering of malware, spyware websites, getting advanced into adult websites, gambling, social media, so on and so forth there. So we have those 4 levels available as well. That's OvrC Home. OvrC Home, again, is taking a lot of what OvrC can already do for you and giving a little bit of that control back to the client in whatever way you want to as an installer. OvrC Home is also free. There's no charge to use these features. They are there for you. So no matter which product you're using, with OvrC in it, it probably has some type of integration into the OvrC Home ecosystem. Which is really powerful to be able to offer your clients there and start to think about, right, the remote RMR type model, start to generate some revenue from some of these features. We'll talk more about this as we go on, but before you thought about recurring revenue, you have a cost to visit a job site, whatever that fixed cost may be. Say, hey, I'm going to start managing your product with OvrC. I'm going to give you this app to fix a lot of your own problems. The app is going to be $10 a month. And going forward, if I ever have to visit a job site because you couldn't solve your own problem with the app or I couldn't solve it remotely with my OvrC integration, instead of my normal rate of $190 an hour, it'll be $100 an hour or whatever it may be, hypothetical numbers there, right? But that's the idea when you start to use solutions like this. OvrC Home is a tangible solution to build on the remote management platform for your clients. So the next piece that we want to talk about is OvrC Pro. So the first two pieces, OvrC and OvrC Home, are all about integration with SnapAV manufactured products. We came to kind of a crossroads about 2 years ago now, as we were developing our platform and kind of talking through what we want it to be. And at this crossroads, we kind of had to make the decision that we want to keep making a solution that only made SnapAV products better, or do we want to make a solution that encompasses the entire job site, not just SnapAV products? We went the route where we say, hey, let's focus on SnapAV products still, but also start to bring in that entire job site experience there. Because there are a lot of products that SnapAV as a manufacturer will never be able to make. It's just not in our warehouse to manufacture some of these, whether we don't have the engineering prowess to do it, or we just don't want to get into that because it's a highly competitive market. But there are also products that we make that you as an installer may never ever want to use from us. You just don't care about it in terms of that product from us, and you like our competitors better, which is okay. And we had to get to that point where we were okay with that as well. So OvrC Pro is all about an all-encompassing solution for the entire job site. So it comes in two different form factors that we'll talk about, right? The first form factor is the first piece of OvrC that might incur a cost. OvrC Pro is a one-time fee per job site. There are no recurring revenue models that charge you as an installer a recurring fee. You pay a one-time fee to put this piece of hardware on a job site, and that piece of hardware is going to scan your network and locate all of your devices in that network to allow you to filter those into your OvrC ecosystem. I'll show you guys some examples here in a second with our live demo. But that little piece of hardware lives on the job site and gives you a lot of these features. The flip side of that, the other example of what OvrC Pro is OvrC Pro is also natively built into all of our Arachnus routers that have been released in the last 6 months and going forward. So that is actually a embedded feature, a native feature in our routers that is at no extra charge. So if you buy OvrC Pro standalone, the idea, if you're not using Arachnus networking gear, there is a small fee to put that on the job site. If you are buying OvrC Pro and you're using Arachnus gear, you really aren't buying OvrC Pro. You're buying Arachnus routers and you're getting it for free on the job site. No extra fees, no one-time fee to go with it. And so that's kind of what makes up OvrC Pro today in terms of the hardware. But what do you get with it, right? What does OvrC Pro give you as a platform? So the first kind of two things you get with OvrC Pro that are a little bit different than standard OvrC, and I'll show you guys the difference here in a second, is you get a system health dashboard. So we're going to give you a global dashboard that's going to show you kind of everything going on that location. It's going to tell you how many devices you have online, how many devices you have offline globally, how many firmware updates you have available for all your devices. It's going to give you a view of all of your IP addresses, the DHCP addresses, give you a view of all of your Wi-Fi devices on that job site. It's also going to have a lot of network diagnostics. So the ability for you to not just ping devices, but get a consistent and redundant speed test happening at whatever interval you want it to happen on that job site as well. The one thing that clients are always doing, you guys as installers know this, is clients are always on that job site, at home, at their business, with their phone, testing the speed. Oh, I'm paying for 150, I got 149. That's not okay, right? That's what they're always doing, is they are looking at that and they are focusing on that. So we're giving you that speed test that's happening for you as an installer all the time, at intervals you want to, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, or on demand. So you can make sure that the client speeds are staying what they're supposed to be and that you don't have anything to worry about going forward. So when the client calls you and says, hey, my speeds aren't right, they don't look good, you can look at your OvrC Pro application on your phone, through your web interface, you can see right away, no, your speeds are just fine. It's probably your device doing something funny. Let's figure that part out first. The ultimate goal is to give you more tools to solve your problems there. So scanning and monitoring devices. The ability, once that hub is installed, to automatically find all of your IP devices on that network and relaying all the relevant device information to OvrC. So that's IP address, MAC address, how long it's been online, when was it first seen online, regularly pinging the device, the ability to get notifications of any device, not just SnapAV devices, but any device on that job site falls offline. You can be notified of when that happens, so you can be proactive for the entire job site. So those first three kind of buckets there are very important, but in the grand scheme of things, they're fairly simple in terms of being able to do that. The next two, though, are where OvrC Pro really starts to shine. That is advanced remote access and third-party product integration. I want to talk about advanced remote access. What I mean by that is the ability to get into the UI of any device. So on the front end of that, any device that has a web UI, right, that you can access via port 80, even devices that don't use port 80, but any device with a web UI, whether it's a third-party network switch, it's a third-party printer, access point, audio video receiver, whatever it may be, if it has a web UI, OvrC Pro can tunnel into that UI and gain access, so that whatever the setting change you have to make, whatever troubleshooting you have to do, if you can't do it through the cloud interface, you can still get into the local UI of that device's interface and make those changes and updates when necessary. Building on that same topic of remote access, we have the ability to tunnel into devices via SSH, the ability to tunnel in via Telnet. We can tunnel into things like Crestron processors to make configuration changes on Crestron systems. We have the ability to tunnel into Windows or Mac-based PCs. So on a Windows PC, we can actually tunnel into that through OvrC Pro using Windows Remote Desktop Protocol. There are plenty of examples. I can think of hundreds of examples in tech support where an installer had to leave a computer on the job site, a laptop on the job site, because they needed that there to solve a problem after hours, right? They couldn't solve it while they're there. They had to leave that computer there because they had to log in and make that change, whatever it may be there. That's powerful to have. That prevents you from having to pay for TeamViewer Business or LogMeIn Pro. All you have to worry about is a little mini PC on your job site, and OvrC Pro can tunnel into that device and make those changes when necessary, which is really, really powerful to have. Again, the ultimate goal is that we want to leave no problem unsolved with OvrC Pro. We want to give you all the tools necessary to solve those problems without having to do crazy advanced network setup to allow you into those devices going forward. So that's advanced remote access. The last piece, which is a really, really fun piece, is our third-party product integration. We have a team at SnapAV that their sole focus is to work on this and start to give you enhanced diagnostic data, but also troubleshooting capabilities from a nonstop growing list of supported products. So if you look on this screen here, you'll see a lot of our competitors' products, like I was talking about before, that the ecosystem talks to and interacts with OvrC Pro and the third-party product integration. So to kind of give you some examples, right? Panamax, they are a competitor of ours when it comes to IP surge protectors. But we knew a lot of our integrators, a lot of our installers still have Panamax deployed out on their job sites, and they're using Blue Bolt. We didn't want them to have a solution that required them to support their WAP boxes that they're starting to deploy, or maybe they don't use WAP box at all and they use Panamax, but they use everything else from SnapAV. We don't want them to have to, again, sit on two different interfaces to manage that entire job site. So we built a lot of the same integration that WAPbox has into OvrC with Panamax. So you can reboot actual ports, turn off ports on your Panamax surge protectors. Going into security panels like Elk, we have a lot of control over Elk security panels and visibility. The biggest thing you see, there's a lot of status information on and error codes of what's going on, and you can reboot those panels when needed. Looking at things like SurgeX or Dynamo Ranch, Pioneer, Samsung IPTVs, we can reboot Samsung IPTVs through OvrC Pro today as well. This list is always growing. We're putting a big emphasis to continue to add to this. I'll give you some more examples when we jump into the demo here in a second. But this is a really cool piece here for us to add continued integration into the OvrC Pro platform in terms of what it can give you as an installer. That's OvrC Pro. OvrC Pro is the first piece of OvrC that might cost you some type of fee. Again, if it is a fee, it's because you are buying it standalone. You're not using Arachnus networking hardware or an Arachnus router in that case. But if you use an Arachnus router, there is no fee. It is built into the device natively to give you all these great features and visibility to manage the entire job site. So just to recap here real quick, again, OvrC as a solution, it is multiple different facets. It is natively integrated into SnapAV products, over 200 different brands today. It is integrated into third-party products using the OvrC Pro platform that only expands its support. It is available for your clients using the OvrC Home app so that they can solve some of their own problems at your behest in whatever way you want to. And it's available for you as an installer on multiple interfaces, whether it's iOS, Android, or your computer desktop interfaces as well. So that's kind of what OvrC is. That's the idea. We're going to jump into a demo here in a second. I want to let this slide here lead into that, is generating revenue with the OvrC platform. Hopefully some of you that aren't doing this today or interested in trying to start to generate some revenue with the OvrC platform, that you'll start to do that, right? And you'll start to see some light bulbs blink on in your heads that, hey, I could use that to make some money here. But the idea with OvrC is that you can now start to create service plans that make sense for your customer. Say, hey, if you are on my OvrC or my remote management platform service plan, I am only going to charge you, $75 a truck roll versus my typical 150. Because most of the jobs, most of your job sites, I can fix with my remote management platform. Or I'm going to give you a discount that if I try to fix it with my platform and I can't get it fixed, that truck roll is only going to be, $25 or whatever it may be, or $25 an hour. Also, the ability to have recurring fees. Say that for $10 a month, I am going to manage your job sites for you and solve problems before they become your problem. For $20 a month, I am going to give you access to your own application to solve your own problems. And maybe for $30 a month, I'm going to integrate OvrC Pro into the application to solve every problem on the job site. There's tons of ideas and opportunities for what OvrC as a platform can be for you. I want to take you guys through a little bit of a demo here to show you some examples, and then we'll open it up for questions if we have any. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to hit the Q&A option in your Zoom platform there to ask some questions, and we'll be happy to answer them as things go through here. So let's jump into a demo here real quick. You've probably lost my screen, which is okay. I am going to share it again here with all of you. Okay, so you all should be seeing the OvrC platform now. This is your kind of OvrC dashboard when you first come into the OvrC ecosystem. If you've never used OvrC before, if you're setting it up for the very first time, it's really simple to do so. You just go to OvrC.com and it will allow you to create an account there and sign up. It's really fast, really simple. So the first thing you'd always do as an OvrC installer is you have the ability to go in and add a customer. When you add a customer, this is, again, we talked about the ability to manage all of your job sites, manage all of your customers from one screen. So you're putting your customer's name, putting your customer's phone number, email address to allow you to keep track of them. We won't talk about groups in depth today, but you have the ability as an OvrC installer to create groups within your customers that only certain technicians have access to. The important thing there is maybe you have high profile clients that you only want to give certain access to certain technicians, or you have maybe clients separated across different regions. You want to make sure only they have access to clients within their region, whatever it may be. You can create groups that certain techs have access to. And then you can put information here on location names. So if you have a client that has multiple locations, maybe they have multiple homes, they have multiple places of business they're doing work at, whatever it may be, you can have multiple locations per customer. And then you can put their ISP information in and their address. So once you start to populate your customer list and you have all your customers in here, their names, their addresses, so on and so forth, start to have your map view here. The map view is a really cool feature here with OvrC, really just to give it a more visual experience here. It's going to allow you to not only start to see where the problems are at on your job sites, right? The locations in blue are good. They are healthy systems. And then the ones that are in orange are job sites that need attention. This allows you to see where your issues are happening, plan your days out appropriately. It's also a really easy sales tool. You put this, just like you see on the screen in front of you, put this interface full screen on a TV in your office. And when you're trying to sell to a client, they walk in the door, they can actually see your scope of business, your scope of work, where are you doing business at. So it's really important in terms of what that can do for you, just be able to show visually what things are. So let's jump into some of the actual interactions here. I want to jump into a few of the devices here before we kind of wrap it up here at the end of the day with some questions and whatnot. So this screen you see here, this is your OvrC Pro dashboard. So this is what you will see as an installer if you have a job site that is enabled for OvrC Pro. So it's going to show you how many online SnapAV devices you have, how many offline SnapAV devices you have, how many of those SnapAV devices have firmware updates, speed test information. As you'll see here, our speed test is powered by speedtest.net, Ookla. We partner with them to provide the most reliable speed test information out there. You're going to have a histogram on a lot of your speed test information that's happening. This allows you to see it a week, month, or a year type interface here to give a lot of really good info. Like I was saying before, your client list and all of your wireless clients on those job sites as well. If you don't have OvrC Pro on your job site, you're going to see a screen similar to this here. This is going to be your device screen on your job site. Your device screen is essentially all your devices on that job site currently. Apologize for the delay for it loading up here for me on my end. But your device list is what you would see if you don't have OvrC Pro first and foremost. On that device list, it's going to show you first all of your SnapAV devices that are on that job site, and then below everything else that's not SnapAV if you have OvrC Pro. So let's take a few examples of SnapAV devices and what they are on OvrC Pro. So first, say an Arachnus PoE switch. This is our layer 2 managed PoE switch in the OvrC ecosystem. All you have to have is just the Arachnus PoE switch and nothing else. Once you plug this thing into your network, you're good to go and you have access to these features here. So that is the ability to turn PoE on and off. You'll see if a device has PoE by the lightning bolt here, the ability to reboot any of your PoE ports on those ports, the ability to see how much power consumption that PoE port is currently taking, the ability to reboot the entire device, and then if you needed to, the ability to tunnel into the web interface of that device to do any advanced configuration that may not be available in the cloud currently. It's a great example of what you can do with an Arachnus PoE switch. Another example here, we talked about with our WattBox. Our WattBox IP surge protector. This is our WattBox integrated with our OvrC universal power supply, or UPS, battery backup. So on this device, you're going to see status information, how much wattage is currently drawing, the current draw on the actual device, the amperage is coming through, the voltage, incoming line voltage on it, the battery health of that UPS, and how much load time is left. That's powerful information to have right there. Not only are you going to get a notification if the actual system goes offline, because it's going to tell you that the UPS entered battery backup mode, and you're going to get a notification on your phone via email letting you know that a customer lost power. You're going to see how much time is left in that process as well, because you're going to hopefully maintain internet connection because it's sitting on your battery backup. That's a really powerful tool to have with this integration into OvrC and our WattBox products. And then going through and the ability to reboot any of your individual outlets on that WattBox as well. So being able to reboot the router, switch, say an Apple TV or an amplifier. You'll see this outlet here is grayed out. We have the ability to set outlets to never be turned off. The example there, right? If you accidentally turn off your router, all of your remote management is poof, no longer useful anymore. So we want to make sure that those mission critical devices, you set them to so they can never be turned off. They can only be reset or rebooted within your system. Like I was saying before, all the settings you need for your Wattbox are living in the cloud today. The ability to configure power on delays for when a device is powered back on, the ability to configure UPS settings, the ability to set up auto reboot on the Wattbox so that it can self-heal, it can monitor network performance, and if it loses network connection, it can reboot any group of outlets based off that communication there. So again, really powerful what it can do for you on the Wattbox side of things. So those are just two examples of SnapAV products in terms of what they can do for you. This right here is an example of our firmware update option. You'll see here what this looks like in terms of the ability to see what current firmware the device is on, and then what the new version of firmware is doing, and what are the basically features or changes we're making in that firmware update. And then you can push that update here from the interface as well. So let's talk about OvrC Pro now. What does OvrC Pro get you? So again, everything by default here at the top, that is going to be all of your SnapAV devices that have native integration to OvrC. And then you're usually going to have this little OvrC hub option here. And then everything below that are your third-party devices that the hub has scanned for and found on your network. As you'll see here, we see the IP address of all those devices, we see the MAC address of all those devices, the manufacturer of that MAC address as well. So any device that has a green little dot here, that means it has some extra third-party integration with OvrC Pro. If it doesn't have the green dot, it's just a basic OvrC Pro device that you can see device information, you can name it, and you can set it up for notifications if you want to be notified about that device. But let's look at, say, a Cisco PoE switch. This, again, Cisco is technically a competitor of ours. They make plenty of the same products we do, but we integrate with countless manufacturers' PoE switches, and as well as non-PoE switches. As long as it's a managed switch, we most likely can interact with it. I can say we interact today with Cisco, Netgear, Luxel, PackEdge, Ubiquiti, and Netgear. Those are the ones for sure we interact with, but there's a lot of other ones that we do as well. If that network switch supports SNMP, we can probably talk to it. But what you're going to see here is the ability to, again, see PoE status on a device, if it has PoE or not, port status information in terms of how much data is moving through it, the ability to turn PoE on and off, reboot, a lot of the same experiences you're going to have on a Wattbox, or sorry, on an Arachnus PoE switch. And then if you needed to, the ability to still come in and view the web UI and configuration of that Cisco switch as well. So right now I'm creating a secure tunnel via SSH into the web interface of that Cisco PoE switch here to give me this control. That's a powerful feature to have there on those job sites if you ever need to make any kind of setting changes there. So let's take another couple examples here, and then we're gonna, not keep you guys too long today. So another example, Panamax. We mentioned it before. Another, somewhat of a competitor of ours as well. Panamax, the ability to turn off the outlets on any of their surge protectors that have Blue Bolt, reboot the ports on those devices as well. It's really powerful to have that. I mentioned before your Windows-based PCs. So say we have a Dell laptop. If we click on this Web Connect option here, what we're going to see here is we have exposed a new protocol to the OvrC Pro ecosystem, port 3389. So for plenty of my Windows guys out there, you're probably familiar that 3389 is the default port in Windows for Windows Remote Desktop Protocol. So as long as you have a device on the job site with Windows Remote Desktop Protocol enabled on it, you should be able to tunnel in with this option here. And so what this is doing currently, I'm not going to show you the full end result here, but this is creating a secure URL that we can now take and drop into the Windows Remote Desktop Protocol client on my PC here, and I could then tunnel into that PC wherever it's at on that job site. So again, solve any number of problems that might be out there for those clients on their job sites. So the possibilities with OvrC Pro in terms of what it can do are endless. We have tons of examples here that I can go through all day for you guys to give you more and more examples here. but it's really, really powerful in terms of what it can do, what it can give you. We have tons of interactions with third-party products, whether it's all of our Google interactions with Google Chromecast products. Again, this is a Google smart speaker I can reboot, whether it's third-party IP cameras. This is a third-party IP camera that we do not manufacture, so you can see it's IC real-time. We have the ability to see a lot of really good information around this piece as well. The ability to reboot that IP camera. So lots of interaction, lots of opportunities for you as installers to start to generate revenue and use this platform as one that you can manage your entire job sites with. It's a robust platform that's continuing to grow day in and day out. A lot of our customers today already see it and know it as a very robust and powerful platform for them today. So I'll end it with this and jump into some questions for you guys.
All right, thank you, Derek. Attendees, now is the time. If you have any questions, we've received a couple of questions that have been answered privately, but if you have any questions for our speakers, now is the time for you to ask in your question and answer boxes.
So I see the one that came in from Kevin Roberts, and looks like Clint would like to answer the question live, so I'll let him jump in if he wants to.
Guys, yeah, thanks for getting me unmuted there. I had a little bit of trouble. Yeah, Kevin, good question. Thank you so much. Some of the service and warranty packages that we've seen have been anywhere from just allowing a remote service plan where you may add $10 a month to a customer site. And if you are able to solve it remotely, there is a $25 service fee. And then if you actually have to dispatch a truck, it's a reduced service cost, typically about 50% of your rate. Other opportunities have been just a straight RMR fee attached to the account that's part of your warranty program and packages. But truthfully, we really left that open-ended so that you can establish that best for your business, and we didn't want to presume about how to tell you how to run that piece. So it really kind of does vary all over the map. We also have some additional partners out there who have adopted our OvrC platform for more of the CEDIA home type installations. I can think of a couple. One that comes to mind is a company called Parasol that actually administers the remote service fee and splits the RMR with you, and they maintain the some really white glove service around it. So again, it's all over the map, and I hope that helps answer your question.
Thanks, Clint. So another question that I see that came through here, will OvrC work with the Google Chrome browser? This is a great question. OvrC, the platform itself, is supported in every single browser you have on your systems. So whether it's Chrome, Internet Explorer, Edge, Firefox, Safari, Opera, you name it, right? You can use this within any type of web browser. It's a pretty flexible and robust platform to make that happen for you guys. Another great question that I see is what distributors do we currently sell through? So at SnapAV, we currently sell through our website today, snapav.com. We are a leader in the industry for e-commerce, and then we sell through local distribution through our local distribution partners, AllNet, Volutone, and MRI. So those are the only places you will find access to anything or any type of our products today. So if you're not a current dealer of SnapAV, Clint posted an option there, snapav.com/security. You can go there today and sign up and ask to become a dealer. You can get access to all these great things, but you will have to be a dealer of ours to get access to any of these products. So I am not seeing any other questions here today. If you guys do have any questions, you can always feel free to reach out to our teams at SnapAV, our tech support teams, give our customer service teams a call. We're always happy to answer those. Other than that, I really thank you guys for spending the time today. We always love interacting. And
Derek, thanks. Thank you, Derek, for the time there. And guys, thank you all for attending. We do want to provide a special offer for you. If you will, in your question and answer window, We're happy to provide you a free OvrC Pro Hub so you guys can get started. We'll set you up an account. There's no charge, no obligation, but just simply indicate that you like that free OvrC Pro Hub, and we'll make sure that we get one shipped out to you just simply by answering in your Q&A. Again, the OvrC Pro Hub is the device that actively scans your network, will auto-discover everything on site, and what really enables third-party products to work in addition to our enhanced products through SnapAV. And again, we'd like to offer it to you to thank you for your time for it. Any additional follow-up questions, I'm happy to help on a one-on-one basis. Again, our entire mission at SnapAV really is about empowering our integrators to win in their marketplace. And again, we do that with heavy investments in your business. We know that if you win, we win, and so we want to be your partner in that. I've got my email address that I'll post in the Q&A page as well. But in addition, your Q&A will be captured here with ESA, and they'll forward that information to us, and we'll reach out and get that squared away to you. So please feel free just to indicate, again, that you would like that in your Q&A box. I do see a note in the chat window. If you would, again, just in the Q&A box, if you would list the chip hub there, we'll be able to capture it that way. And so again, thanks for your time. Any other wrap-up stuff that we need to do from the ESA side?
While everybody who's interested is still making their statements in the question and answer box, I would just like to thank you guys again for the presentation. Just a reminder to everybody that's attending the webinar now, a recording will be available this afternoon. If you want to send it out to any of your colleagues, we are happy to share the link with you guys. So that'll be available on our website and in our e-newsletter that'll go out tomorrow. And if nobody else is interested in the offer, then this concludes the webinar. And then one
offer too. That's for guys that we forward this to. This is only for our guys who joined us live. So I know this will be down electronically. So for posterity's sake, I wanted to say that on the record.
Thank you. All right, everyone, have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.